Tell me about Craig.
Craig Brown was my older brother. 6 years older than me. I was the baby of the family. There was a spare piece of ground beside the house, which my father commandeered so that we could kick a ball on it. We played endlessly on that patch of ground. That was all I wanted to do, was be a player. I wasn't good enough. But Craig, of course, became so talented so early. Craig was probably the outstanding player of his generation. Every club in the country tried to sign him. I mean, he was playing teams with Alec Ferguson and Billy McNeil. He was captaining teams with them in it. He eventually signed for Rangers, but sadly came to grief there early with a knee injury. He was sent to Dundee, and he then was in the Dundee squad that won the league in 1961-2 and played in the European Cup the following year. But he was always hampered, and by the age of 27, he had to retire from playing. He never ever bemoaned his misfortune as a player. I never ever heard him once show any kind of bitterness or disappointment. I discovered he had some coaching ability as a very young boy. He taught me to swim when I was 9. He had a natural instinct for that kind of thing. I played at a Scottish Schools Shield semi-final. Craig watched the game beside our teacher, and at half-time our teacher came into the dressing room and he made some tactical alterations, and we were all sitting and looked, oh, this never happened before. And one of the boys said, "Sure, brother, Craig's in his ear." Anyway, we did what we were told, and we scored 5 goals in the second half. Billy McNeil used to rave about him as a player. They played in the same schoolboy international team. Billy had gone from Clyde to Aberdeen, and he told the Clyde board to go and get Craig to come in and replace him. And that was the start of it. So he was there for 9 years. Won the league. And he really hooked on it. In 1985, Alec Ferguson became the interim Scotland manager. And Alec was allowed to pick 3 coaches. And he took Walter Smith, Archie Knox and Craig. And Craig started doing all the youth teams, and he became number 2 to Andy Roxburgh. And then when Andy left, Craig succeeded him.
After managerial successes at under-21, under-18 and under-16 level, Craig Brown steps up.
I was surprised to be offered the job. However, when asked to do it, I had no hesitation in accepting.
Of course, I had to interview him in my capacity as a commentator.
Well, I hope we get a good result anyway. Thanks very much.
Thank you, George.
But which one is the older brother, eh?
That could be quite tricky sometimes if the game hadn't gone too well.
Craig, most people would rate that one of our most embarrassing results for a long, long time. How would you explain it?
Well, I would agree with that. There's no hiding place there, because that was a very poor result. In fact, you're right in saying it's an embarrassing one.
We did that interview, and then of course we go to the airport to fly back. I go up to him and say, "Listen, you know what I had to do there?" He said, "What are you talking about?" "I never noticed." "No, it's not a problem." You couldn't upset him in that kind of way. He was never remotely troubled about criticism of any kind. So I was immensely proud of Craig. He was always my big brother. He was best man at my wedding. I don't remember ever falling out with him. I think he was a beacon of generosity and humility. And I think that's what I'd like him to run for. I think he'd settle for that too.
If Craig was here right now, if he was sitting where I am, what would you say to him?
Thanks. That's what I say to him.